What's happening, guys? Willie here at The Great Outdoors. I was asked in a past comment for one of my videos, and at this time point it eludes me. It's an older video that I had from way back. If I had ever dug into a Shakespeare 1702. That's right, not to be confused with the 1700, because this would be a 1702. That's right. Now the 1700, the difference between the two reels, really, the major difference is the 1700 has a sawtooth inner rotor. And what I mean by that, it's the old steel rotor that has the cuts in it that goes around, looks like a saw blade. And that's what catches your line and brings your line around inside. Where the 1702 has a retrieval pin, spring-loaded retrieval pin type thing, sticks out, grabs a line, that kind of, you know what I'm talking about. So they upgraded it slightly. Now the reels don't look that much different. They kind of kept the same scheme going on there, but I was asked if I'd ever dug into a 1702. Now I have one, and I have not. And the reason I have not is because I got the reel from Dan Selvig. Him and I had traded some reels back and forth. And Dan sent this reel to me already done. Didn't have to do a thing except put some line on it, put it on a rod, and fling it. That's right. And we caught some fish with it in that video and had a great time using it. It's a great reel. Now, before we get too involved in that, I'm going to tell you some past. That's the stuff that's back here behind you that you can't go back to. You just can't. A couple videos back, I had gone to the antique store and bought 5 reels. That's right, 2 Japanese reels, 1 Sears, 1 Mystery, and 3 Johnson Centuries. Now, for those of you who may have been looking forward to me tearing into those Johnson Centuries, well, too bad. I've already done it. And I didn't video a thing. I did it for myself because I wanted to. I do a lot with the Johnson reels, and I know I do. And I've had a couple of people say, hey man, enough with the green reels. So yes, I know after a while it gets a little bit old. Now those 3 Century 100Bs came out okay. One of them's really good, one of them's kind of noisy, and the other one's a good take it around, go fishing kind of thing whenever you want to go. I do enjoy taking apart the Centuries and the Citations. One of these Centuries had some parts on it from another reel, from a Johnson 115. Now I found that out because a new friend of mine, Mr. Gary Barber, who is the Johnson Company guru when it comes down to Centuries, Citations, my ladies, and that kind of stuff. He's the man. And he knew as soon as I sent him some pictures of those reels, he knew exactly what parts were on that other reel. Now, fortunately, I still had some leftover parts from some reels, switched all that stuff out. Now, hold on a second. There she sits. All changed out, all the correct parts for this particular reel are on here, on a rod, 6-pound line, ready to get flung. That's right. Now, the other 2 are right here, and they are perfectly fine. This one has a broken foot, a little bit on the edge there, but still enough of it for it to go on a rod. It's actually really quiet. It's a shame that that foot's broken. Then we have another one that has a perfectly good foot, no problems there, but kind of sounds like a coffee grinder. But everything works. A reel can be noisy and still work perfectly fine. Okay? It doesn't have to be silent. It's clicking anyway. So what's wrong with a little I mean, come on. Let's just stop being so picky. These reels are 60, 70, 80, 105, 12 years old. But that's enough about the green reels. So we're not going to talk about the green reels anymore. What we're going to talk about now is the Shakespeare 1702, which comes in two-tone green. I I was asked if I had ever dug into one of these, and I have not. They're very similar inside than a lot of the reels that I've worked on, and plus Dan had already had this thing done, so I really didn't have to do anything. So really, I'm doing this reel today, taking it apart, looking inside, making sure everything's cool, upon the request of a subscriber or viewer. I'm not sure if he is a subscriber, he's a viewer. Obviously he's a viewer, he's watched. And we're going to take a look at the inside of the Shakespeare 1702. This one is DJ. I don't know what that is. Let's see what year that is. All right, here we go. DJ. Okay, the D stands for 7 and the J stands for 2. DJ, 1972. Okay. 1972 is the year that this particular model from Shakespeare came out. The Shakespeare Wonder Reel. Dun, dun, dun. Anyway, let's get you down to the table here, get dug into this thing, and see what she looks like inside. Hopefully I don't break anything, because who knows if I can get the parts for that thing. Seriously, who knows if I can get the parts for that thing. Alright, everybody see what's going on? Move that out the way. Let's get that cap off there. Now, as you see, we have rubber ring, retrieval pin, looks to be plastic. Oh, that's, see now, okay, that nut for the bottom of this one has a little star washer there. Keep that from coming off. Pop that off there. Now see, instead of a spring, that's got your kind of, you see, I'm trying to make sure y'all can see in there. See that? What you got for a spring is a little copper strip instead of an actual coil spring. Alright, what do we got here? We have a copper, like a little compression style C-clip kind of thing. We got to get that off there somehow. Let's see here. I say we're going to, if I could just, that little clip right there has got some holding action. So you have a little pin on the bottom and you have a little hole there inside where that little pin falls into place. Alright, let's go ahead and get these screws off the side here. And remember, this is a Shakespeare, so let's be very careful with these screws and make sure they don't break on us. They're not very tight in there. Thank you, Dan, I appreciate that, so we don't end up breaking screws up. And we'll take our plate and our button off. And basically inside we're looking at what we have for the drag on this one. If you notice how that spins freely in the center section there of that gear without the gear itself turning, because I have the drag completely off right now. But as you bring that drag in tight, things start happening. Now this one does not have a C-clip, but it has one of the tiny hairpins that holds the spring and the gear and everything in. Alright, so we will grab that little clip on the end of the spring. We're going to put our finger on the spring so it doesn't take off across the room. Come in. There's our little clip. We'll put that in there. The spring will come off. There we go. Spring comes off. Lay that in there. Our gear should come off. And we can pull this right out the top. Right out of the top there. And there is our little gear. And it doesn't matter which way you put it, but I'm going to put it face down the way it came out. We have a star washer in there as well, which we're going to set that one over here so we don't get things mixed up. Take the crank arm off, set that there. Unscrew our star drag button off of here. Now we have a spring washer. Yep, and that just comes right out of there. We'll put that spring washer there. And our gear falls right out in our hand. Now, you have a spring, as you can see right there. Let's take that off there. Our teeth are going to be facing. That's very important to remember. The teeth, when you put it on the gear, the teeth are going to be going, you want your teeth to catch going counterclockwise. Everybody seeing that? Teeth are going to go that way, counterclockwise. Then you have that little spring doodah that's popped off of there. And then everything will come right out of there like that. Now what we're going to do is, there's no reason to take this to the sink. We can dry everything off here, clean it up, and put it back together again. Get some of the old grease out of it. Teeth are really sharp on this gear. I'm just going to let you know that now. The teeth are very sharp and in great shape. Now you see on the back of there, that is your drag washer on the back of that shaft right there. And since we're already here, we're going to go ahead and put that shaft right back in there like such. Set that down there. Now we're going to clean there's another washer right there. I really didn't look inside there and see how that spring actually works, but looks like it hooks right into that. There's a hook inside there, you'll see it hooks right into that. There goes something that I'm sure was important. That's the sleeve. See, the sleeve has to be able to spin inside of there like that. So don't want to drop that out of there again. Let's clean the oil off of here real quick and grease. Alright, we're going to go ahead and put that back on there. That the teeth, see how the teeth are facing counterclockwise. Everything's good there now. Then we will put this gear back in here, making sure that the spring catches that arm on the inside like it's supposed to. Then we're going to go ahead and put our crank back on. There's our little washer I was looking for. There's our little spring washer that's going to go right there. Alright, now we're going to put the star back on. Now we'll put our crank arm back on with our star washer there. Then we'll put the nut back on here. Now I'm just going to drip a little oil right down this. There's a hole right there in the gear. If you notice, there's a small hole right there in the gear, and you can hit that right there like that, and that will put some oil down on that inside where you want it on that gear on the inside. And we'll put that shaft back in there, spin it around a bit and get that oil all over it. Now we're going to get our gear, put our gear back on. Now we need to get our spring back on. This is going to be the fun part. I've got to set this down for just a second so I can get this little teeny tiny hairpin clippy doodah thing, get it back on using these teeny tiny little, hold on to it now, don't you let it go. Man, if you lose that, I'll be mad. Alright, now we're going to put that clip back on. Snaps back in place right there at the bottom of the shaft. Okay, no grease or oil needs to go in there because this does not move. There you go. Now we can put this little clip back on. We can go ahead and put our rotor back on. There we go. And get that back on there. Then we're going to get our nut with the star washer that's there. Put that back on. We'll tighten that in just a second. I just wanted that to hold that gear up for me. Get that line out of the way. That's right, I said line. Did not say string. I don't care what y'all say. I did not say that. Now inside this button you have a little copper. See that little copper piece right there? On that edge is where your button on the inside, where your pinion shaft is going to push. So it's off to one side on here. Why? Because this button sits off to one side. So it has to be further to that side for that pinion shaft to lay in the middle of that thing. There you go. Hope you got that part of it down, because that's an important part, people. I ain't kidding you. I would not lie to you on a Tuesday. It's amazing to me how much faster this goes when I don't have to clean them up. Again, people, let's try to remember, if you're doing this, not to make these screws too tight, because the heads will pop off of them. Though they're not entirely unobtainable, they are hard to find. Now, Matt's Real Repair, I've gotten them from them, I've gotten them from Dan, gotten them from everywhere, but you still don't want to break one, because if you break one and you don't have any to replace it with, well, it leaves you sitting here with a reel that you can't use until you get one. Everything is working great. Now, let's clean it up. Alright, here I am doing that thing I do. Getting all the fingerprints and the grease and the excess oil and stuff off of this green reel. Two-tone green to be exact. That's right. Two-tone green. Kind of a cool green. I'm liking it. Kind of a minty fresh green. Mixed with a forest green like the whispering pines of Vermont. Honestly, I don't even know if there are pines in Vermont, but I'm sure there are. I mean, there's pines everywhere. So there you go. The Shakespeare 1702. Two-tone green. Spin cast reel working great. Not that it wasn't working great before. Ready to go out. Ready to go fishing. So, I hope that helped you out. Very simplistic reel, nothing complicated about it in any way, shape, or form. The only thing you really have to watch out for are the drag washers themselves. Make sure that they're in good shape and they're not all tore up. And even then, you could probably make some. Get some gasket material, a sheet of it from auto parts store. You probably could very easily make drag washers for this. But it's working great. Everything is peachy dandy. Ready to go out to the water. Hey, I hope you enjoyed that. That's a real quick one. Nothing to it because it was already cleaned up. Thank you, Dan. And ready to go out and hit the water again. I'm looking forward to it. This one may not go as quick as some of the other ones because I have a long line of reels behind this one that needs to go out. I'm not kidding. I got a lot of reels that have to go fishing. A lot of them. Hey guys, I just wanted to interrupt this video briefly and talk about something pretty serious. Some time ago, 2 years ago, I did a video called A Honda Monkey, a Fish, a Friend in the Open Road, where I got on the Honda Monkey and basically just took off. My destination was a very good friend of mine's house that was round trip. You were looking at about 120 miles from his house back to my house. And unfortunately, this friend has lost a battle to cancer, and he passed away this morning, February 8th, 2024. I just kind of, as a tribute to him, wanted to play this part of the video where I pull up on the monkey and he gives me a tour of his house, or allows me to tour his home and his collectibles and his automobiles and all of that stuff. His name was Steve Garcia, and I had known him for going on probably 27 or 8 years now. We met through car-related activities, automobiles, hot rods, and stuff like that. And he lived close to me at one point, and for a job, he was an automotive mechanic at a dealership. He was a head mechanic. And he had to move away, further away. And so we didn't get to see each other as regularly as we liked to. But a better gentleman, a better friend, you couldn't have asked for. There when you needed him, and always with a smile and a laugh, never unhappy. So, as a tribute to Steve, I'm going to play that part of the video where he allows me to tour his house, and just basically saying thanks. So, if you'd like to see that whole video, of course you can go watch it, but this is just the part that where I met him there in the yard, in the garage, and I literally pulled right up into his garage after he had just got through weed eating his entire 40 acres or whatever it was that he had there. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it. Enjoy the end of the video there, and we'll see you on the next one, whatever the next one may be. I'm coming in! Coming in hot!
Like a monkey.
Which one of us?